This is things you might not have heard from the Conversation Project, your home for headline news, information, and pop culture references that are worth chatting about. My name is Jay Cleveland Payne. I'm going to give you those things and hopefully a few more things to think about. But remind you for today, it may not really matter. It may not really be much of a deal. We'll talk about that in our first story in just a moment. But just in case, I have 8 stories, including the Rapture, which is here, we think. Also, Kamala Harris, who is back, sort of, and Jimmy Kimmel, who is definitely back and will have something to say tonight, if it all really matters. Now, remind you right now that our website home is thisisconversationproject.com. It's where you can find more details about what we do, how we do it, and how to help us out. Of course, sponsors page there and partnerships there. But more news, more links, more things about what's going on. And we want to highlight our spotlight sponsor, which is Ground News. Visit our link at thisisconversationproject.com/ground news. You will get a chance to get more better news from more better sources and do your own research in a great way, and a 40% discount for using Ground News on the detail. We have that for you through that link. We appreciate that. But as I said, much of this may not matter on this 23rd of September, 2025. Remember that day, or don't remember that day, depending on how it actually works out, because it may be over soon. A pastor has warned that Jesus will return within days, like today, because of the biblical prophecy that's sparking rapture talk all over the internet. A South African pastor named Joshua Makela has predicted the rapture for September 24th. That is today or tomorrow. Tying it to the Jewish Feast of Trumpets, his video went viral and fueled some rapture talk all over the TikToks. The viral rapture claim triggered both earnest preparation and a bit of mockery online, with users posting memes, post-rapture checklists, and of course, questions about what happens to your pets. Because what happens to your pets? Do they go to heaven with you? We won't know until said rapture happens. Coverage notes a long lineage of failed date attempts. Essentially, every couple of years, there's always a rapture one. And the biggest was Harold Camping, the big apocalyptic forecast. And every so often, it's rapture talk over the place. Biblical cautions that, no one knows the date of hour, but this guy does, and he's saying it's coming within the next 24 hours, so prepare yourself. You may not have time to go sell your possessions, but get right with God and make sure that all your enemies are taken care of, things like that. Explainers are stressing that rapture theology is largely 19th century dispensation, not actually mainstream consensus across all Christian traditions, i.e. not quite biblical, just something people came up with, sort of. The bottom line is the rapture prediction is a social media phenomenon every time it pops up, more than a verified theological event. Or they would have talked about it at the Charlie Kirk thing and said, none of this matters because Charlie Kirk is going home and you're coming with him. Because the rapture about all of us going to be with Jesus, Jesus coming home and said, I'm taking you with me. Everybody else is left like Kirk Cameron on, the Left Behind series. And it gets crazy from there. Now, is the rapture coming? I'm going to bet no. And because I'm betting no, I'm going to continue with 7 other stories that are conversational today that we'll keep talking about for the next couple of days. If you're with me, thank you. If you're with me after the rapture, because that means I didn't go, well, then sorry about that. Kamala Harris isn't so much sorry about that, but she's trying to get her truth out with her new book, 107 Days. The book tour is launching as she's trying to sell these things, kicking off with a long talk last night with Rachel Maddow. Of course, she booked a full hour, the in-person interview with Rachel tied to the release of that book, the campaign memoir, and the appearance is positioned as a kickoff for the basically multi-city book tour, first major post-election media sit down with this one, and to sell herself, sell her story, sell how she's not responsible, sell not it's not her fault, and sell the chance that maybe she can get another shot in a year or so. The publisher is pegging this release to interviews all this week, including some big deals with some other media outlets. She went on TV and did, the stuff. She talked about Jimmy Kimmel, talked about Biden, how she regretted how things worked out, but still loved him. And of course, Trump being the existential threat that there's still time to stop, maybe. So from the excerpts, you've seen already that she thought the idea of Biden running one more time was bad, but didn't have the juice to stop it, and other things as well. This is another book that will sell a lot of copies because they pre-sell copies that no one will actually read because they'll watch these interviews, do these things, get these pieces. I am part of the problem because I'm not reading the book, but I'm reading every single interview, every single story that talks about it and aggregating it for you. So thank you, and I'm sorry. Kamala Harris, not quite going away yet. Is this her swan song? Will she become the Al Gore and find some place to work in business and life? Or will she take one more shot at the big job one more time? Third time may be a charm. Or maybe she needs to go sit down somewhere. But you didn't think we're getting away with Rapture talk and not talk about Donald Trump, did you? Oh, we have Donald Trump. Two stories. Number one, Trump and his man, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., along with Dr. Oz as well, have linked autism to vaccines, of course, but also have Tylenol attached. At a White House event, Trump promoted unproven links between Tylenol, vaccines, and autism, where medical experts and Tylenol makers quickly pushing back to saying probably not. The AP explained that there's no credible evidence to connect acetaminophen, the active drug in Tylenol, which Trump took 4 attempts to actually pronounce, and or routine vaccines to autism. Major medical groups call the remarks pretty much irresponsible and just flat out crazy bad. Comments from this included the administration's new autism inquiry, which led by Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., longtime vaccine critic, who was having issues getting vaccines to take the blame, so they went with Tylenol. Now, the maker of Tylenol, a company called Kevview, took some hits yesterday because of all the talk about it, but warned that unsafe pain management alternatives don't actually exist. Tylenol is essentially the safest drug for women who are pregnant to take while they are pregnant for fevers and other pains. Low doses and only when needed is what is out there. And the real kicker for this one is, anecdotally, Tylenol use in pregnant women has been going down per reports. They're taking it less going forward. Although Trump just said, if you have to take it, take it. Otherwise, just tough it out. And don't give it to your children either, because it's bad. It's bad. The autism narrative is going to continue as it is, and there'll be more flashpoints to talk about. But this is one that's going to bring a whole lot of deals. If you're banning Tylenol because somebody's, poisoning it with cyanide again, oh yeah, we got that. Take it off the shelves, make it work. If you ban Tylenol because you say it's causing autism, and all the studies for 10 years say it's not really causing autism, but now you just have to throw something out there because you said something at a Charlie Kirk memorial, and so now you have to throw something out there for people to just go with. You may have issues. Also, something people are just going with is Donald Trump. And don't let my Trump derangement syndrome kind of get in the way of the stories here. These are actual things that are critical thinking thoughts that no matter whether you fall in line with the MAGA thoughts or you just think you are a true hater, want to fight them, just take the words and work them through. And we'll talk about, Ground News later as a sponsor, how you work through some of the issues. But an executive order was signed because he said it was going to, about Antifa, which is labeled a domestic terrorist organization. Which is interesting because we don't actually have domestic terrorist organizations. We can't actually charge a person for domestic terrorism. Also, Antifa is more of an idea, more of a thought. People say they're an Antifa, but they don't have any sort of hierarchy. Black Lives Matter, you may not like it, but it had a hierarchy at some point in time. And when it did that, when it went from an idea and a hashtag to a hierarchy, it, crumbled along the weight of humans being humans. Al-Qaeda is a hierarchy. It was led by a guy. It had ranks. It had a whole organization. It raised money and funds for itself. That's a terrorist group. The Taliban, they run a country. They run many countries. They run a bunch of stuff. They are terrorist groups. Antifa is not. Does it exist? As a thought process, yes. Anti-fascist thought exists. As people who want to gather and do things, yes. As an organized group that can say, hey, you guys do this on Tuesday, we'll do this on Wednesday. No. The coverage of this basically is flagging more things that are so out of whack and just bonkers by the Trump administration, because the rhetoric was ordered a few days ago. Antifa was basically tied to the protest of Charlie Kirk's assassination. Essentially, Trump wanted to blame, and people want to blame some leftist crazy folks, which they can't blame it on, and Antifa for protesting it, which they can do if you want to, as long as they can file it. So it's there. Antifa is a boogeyman that gets thrown out there a lot. However, it's a boogeyman that exists mostly under the bed in our dreams. There are people who may think this way, and that does make them a bit dangerous as they may organize, but there is not a national Antifa party that you can actually shut down going forward. You also can't convict people of domestic terrorism. It doesn't exist. Timothy McVeigh was not convicted of domestic terrorism. He's convicted of, the everything around a bombing. The Unabomber was not convicted of domestic terrorism. He was convicted of, bombing stuff, the actual crime. That's something that gets a bit complicated, a bit big, because a terrorist organization is something from outside that attacks us from inside in non regular measures. They don't wear a uniform per se, but they are gathered, they are organized, they work together, and that's a terror organization. Antifa, not quite, but they're on the list. Quick pause for the news, from the news, to get to a bit apart where we will promote ourselves. And the pause is just like Jimmy Kimmel. It's not long, well, not quite 6 days, but he got 6 days. But we'll talk about him the very next story. So news coming back next, and people are happy to hear about this. However, we need to talk. We need to chat. We need to just go through this real quick because we need your assistance to get through our days. It's very simple. We are independent journalism group. I'm not necessarily out there pounding the pavement, but I am aggregating, doing research, doing stories, allowing you this place, this forum to chit chat. Within this forum, we need your help to exist. It's very simple. It's very easy. It's very easy to work out with us. You just simply need to engage with us, be a part of us, hang out with us, and help more people be engaged with us, be a part of us, hang out with us. Like, share, and subscribe to the videos you're watching today. This one particularly going down live on YouTube, on X, and on Facebook, and subscribe to wherever you're seeing as well. If you like it, it'll tell the algorithms it's worthy of being liked and worthy of watching, and more people hopefully will like it and watch it. If you're sharing it, you share it with like-minded people, they will hopefully watch, engage in it, and do those things as well. If you are doing the things, not getting this naturally in your feed, I ask you to maybe stop by and, select it, share it, or I'm sorry, subscribe to it. So you get this naturally in your feed every single day it comes down, regardless when it comes down. These live things will come to you live, and of course, as we send hot takes of things down to feeds as well. If you follow us on X, you follow us on YouTube. I'm sorry, follow us X and Facebook. You can engage in the actual discourse that we have by being a part of the show, literally being part of the show, doing the things we do to get in all of our feeds. You can engage in feeds and help us vote stories up as they go along and be a part of things. And of course, watch me click buttons on air because the new additions to the StreamYard keep resetting things. And I think they're set in my set studio and they keep undoing. So hopefully it's good there. And going along in the share section because I'm clicking things while I'm doing stuff, clicking buttons, looking at things. Usually not this vapid, usually not this not composed, but some days he likes that. So let's get back to the news. We'll let you know we need your help to like, share, and subscribe to the work we're doing so we can get more of this stuff for you every single day. After affiliate backlash, some industry criticism, ABC has a versus course on Jimmy Kimmel Live. It returns to the air tonight, Tuesday, tonight. The network has said thoughtful conversations preceded the reinstatement, with some affiliates saying they may actually bring it back. Some say they may not. Basically, the Sinclair channels and Nexstar channels are the ones that caused the big kerfuffle, are essentially saying they're going to preempt it with something till further notice. The decision followed a rare days-long suspension over remarks tied to Charlie Kirk's killing. Late night peers framed the suspension as free speech issues. Basically, everybody who's still on late night spoke out about this, and many pundits as well. Ratings implications will hinge on the audience return and how quickly the affiliate footprint will normalize. If the Sinclair stations and Nexstar stations don't cover it, that's one way you can't watch it, so it's not there. But if you see the ratings for stations that actually do carry it, and a large sense of people looking for it online show that people are looking for Jimmy Kimmel, looking for what he's going to say, because I want to know what he's going to say. We'll see what happens with Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel's contract ends somewhere in 2026. There's talk that negotiations are going on to keep things going. He, of course, has said a few years back that in 10 years this is done. And so we'll see if this is his time for a graceful exit, whether he's going to extend a few more years to get some stuff out of this one, or what. Because Jimmy Kimmel's story is a larger story than it probably need be, but it is a story that sort of tells us about ourselves in our time. The fourth Spider-Man film, Spider-Man Brand New Day, is being filmed right now, and Tom Holland is taking a couple days off as he suffered a mild concussion during a stunt sequence. Production's pausing while he recovers. ABC's report that the actor is expected to return to the set fairly soon, just a minor concussion, mild concussion, nothing serious. Other outlets echoed a short recovery outlook for what's going on. Set photos place the recent filming that's in Glasgow, so the film remains in a current release timeline for now. Nothing's going to be held up for days of shooting. They build in some days. Studio Reps has not detailed the stunt mechanics, what exactly is happening, how it happened, what failed, what went right, and how Holland bumped his head and is now just chilling. Fans amplified about the updates because they could see updates pictures of Holland out there doing his sexy Spider-Man thing, and we'll see what happens in the next upcoming movie, how it portrays the universe of Marvel itself going forward, and a universe where people sort of forgot about Spider-Man, but they didn't quite forget about Spider-Man. They just forgot all the people that knew he existed or knew who he was, now no longer know who he is or who his alter ego is. So there. Safety protocols of high-risk superhero shoots are always on and, of course, double-checked. We want to make sure that all our heroes, all our stars are safe, and this is what's here. So right now, mild concussion is serious, but nothing too serious, and the filming will continue going forward soon. A tiger handler and Joe Exotic associate was killed in a fatal mauling in Oklahoma Preserve a few days ago. Ryan Easley, who was the operator of Growler Pines Tiger Preserve, was fatally mauled during a show at facilities suspended tours after that. Coverage of Easley's past with Tiger King orbit, so that brought in some more ideas, and it's also what brings people to the reserve. He has connections to Joe Exotic and Don Antley via Show Me Tigers from back in the day. Authorities said the attack occurred in front of spectators, which is sad. Federal and state reporting requirements are now in motion to do all investigations. Animal welfare groups renewed calls to end big cat exhibitions after the mauling, and preserve statement praised Easley's dedication. Investigators will review the husbandry, that's the animal view, and the safety protocols on taking care of the animals. These are all retired tigers and retired animals from larger shows that are living their lives out at the reserves, but are also earning their keep by doing some work. We're going to see how this one works out going forward. Now, finally, since we're going to be pretty sure that the rapture isn't happening tomorrow, I'm going to put my money on that one. We can start looking to other mysteries that we don't know fully, like Stonehenge, something that's been troubling us for years. And a footprint found on the rock foundation challenges what we actually know about its origin, because everything's sort of made up. But a geochemical fingerprint, I said footprint, fingerprint analysis indicates that Stonehenge's altar stone is likely originated in Scotland's Orcadian Basin and not in Wales. The finding reframes Stonehenge's logistics, implying that sophisticated Neolithic transport, like literally taking rock from long distances here to there, was a part of this one with some sort of coastal shipping action, and not just here's this rock, let's stick it up here. Media recaps cite last year's study as the basis for this week's viral fingerprint headlines. They talked last year about the stones from Stonehenge not being from the area, and now they have a little bit of some sort of proof. Researchers stress the chemistry points north, but precise quantity and quarry, or where it is, the word is, where it came from. Can't quite figure it out because, it is thousands of years old. For archaeology communicators, the Stonehenge fingerprint story is a classic case of new science pre-packaging the mass repackaging of things going forward. Something we've known for forever because we've overstated, oversaid it, oversold it, is now something that is there. So it is it. So yes. So assuming there is a rapture tomorrow, although the guy's pretty sure it's going to happen, we still have Stonehenge to look into. We have Jimmy Kimmel to look forward to. We have Trump to look forward to. You don't have to look forward to them alone. You can look forward to them with all the facts available to you by going to Ground News and getting in on the action of news coverage that is actually news coverage from all angles. You can see what your folks are talking about. That's if you're siloed or you have a favorite brand of news. See what other people are talking about that you don't like or some that you've never heard of, and get a full comparison of what the news is out there all over the place. What you get from Ground News is side-by-side comparisons of headlines and news stories from all stories, local, national, and or international. That gives you a ranking of basically where the sources stand. Are they more right? Are they more left? Are they more center? You can see just based off the rankings how a story is most being covered. Here, this is an old clip, Mike Johnson in the clip, or other picture there, where this is a story that's mostly being covered, mostly fairly, with a sort of by the books, no fringe, various topic, various types of news coverage. You see a bit extra red and extra, a little less blue in the partisan coverage there. If you pay for the Vantage plan, you get access to the blind spot feature, which shows you exactly what stories you're being overfed and underfed. You'll see what's being siloed by various folks back and forth to see what's happening, and you can see that directly from there. It's that cool. So you want to be a part of the show? You want to see what's happening on those ends? It's simple. You just go to Ground News and use our link as well, so that way you can see you can see all these things for less. 40% off all plans, which will save you $10, under $10 a month for the Vantage plan, and a dollar a month or so for the basic plan. Go to this is the conversationproject.com. That's Ground News. This is conversationproject.com. That's Ground News, and get it on the news today. Founded by a scientist who wanted to get better news coverage. This algorithm works for you, works for all of us. It is there. And yes, Chris, the rapture could be tomorrow. It is possible. It could happen. It's there. It's on the books. This preacher in Africa said it could happen. So we shall see. I'm voting no. In the meantime, you want to vote no and keep working with us? Go to our website. This is conversationproject.com. There's plenty of things to do there. You can see recaps of things we've done. Visit our sponsors page for more sponsors. Visit our partnerships page and be a partner and join us on the fun there. Also, email us directly at the conversation inbox at gmail.com, and our feeds, which are not YouTube, which you find us there, are Facebook and X. Facebook.com/This is the Conversation Project and X.com/TH_conversation, where you can not only get this video here live every weekday morning, you can also engage in the stories you post on Facebook and X, so you can tell us better what to talk about. We go through every morning and look through the stories based on engagement for the past 30 hours or so of actual posting, and we see which stories are pegging and put many of those up here. And if you got the wrong story, you let us know if there's a story you'd rather have talked about as well. Today is Tuesday, September 23rd, 2023. Maybe day of rapture, maybe tomorrow. We do not know the hour. We do not know what time frame. We do not know what market will be specifically. So it could happen. I'm saying no, but who am I? I'm not a Bible talk scholar. I am not a theologian. I'm not a prophet. I'm a guy on the internet talking about news stories and current event stories. So that's me. Love you guys so much. Mean it. Assuming nothing really crazy happens, like a rapture, or I just get overly tired and can't get up on time tomorrow. Expect a Wednesday morning edition. And if there's no Wednesday morning edition, let's assume it's not a rapture. Let's assume that I did not go to be with my Lord and Savior, which would be cool. Let's assume I overslept.